Yeah, hi there. These comments, I'm going to just use your initials R, and I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-Step System to Pass a TOEFL IBT. And you sent me an email, and you said, you said, I need to get 26 in the speaking. I usually get 19 to 22 when you evaluate my answers. You say, notice for question type 4 and 6, I run out of time. Do you have any suggestions how I can improve on that? How can I improve my time management? It's through note-taking. That's exactly how you do it. So when you do question 4, integrated speaking 4, that's reading, listening, speaking, academic. My advice to you is when you're doing the TOEFL test, you want to get a sheet of paper like this. You want to draw a line down the middle of the paper. On the left, put R. On the right, put listening. After R, state what the topic is of the reading passage. After L, put the topic of the listening passage. And then underneath R, or reading, you want to put 2 or 3 main points that the reading passage discusses. Put 2 or 3 main points that the listening discusses. Remember that you have to do all of this as you read, as you listen, not after you're done. You don't have enough time to do any of this type of organization when you're done with the reading and the listening. You do it as you read and as you listen. That's the trick. So then once you get your 20 or 30 seconds to think about your response, you look at the notes you've written down and you just look at them for a minute, and then once it says begin speaking, then you create your speaking response. What you want to do, state the main topic of the reading and the listening passage first. Then move to the main points in the reading passage. And then move to the main points in the listening passage. That's what you have to do. So to improve your time management, I think you have to improve your note-taking and make sure you have complete, accurate notes on the reading and the listening passages, and you can use your notes to help you answer the question. That is the key. Now, you said, do you think I'm ready to take the exam? No, probably not. If you are ready, you'll be scoring between 26 and 30 on the speaking task. So you say, how would I know that I'm ready for the test? You'll be scoring 26 or higher on your speaking practice test. So if you're not doing that, you're probably not ready. All right? So now, let's go to the VoxyPop group and let's take a look at one of your practice tests. So I'm clicking on it right now. I'm just going to say Ria, I will use, and you're answering one of my independent speaking practice tests. And I'm actually going to listen to your response right now. Okay. Okay, let's listen to your response.
Old historical house because I would love to live in an old historical house because I have a personal attachment, and also this way I would be able to feel more cultured.
Okay, what I would do is, to get better here, you're taking 15 seconds to set up your response. It's probably too much time. Try to limit your introduction to maybe 8 to 10 seconds, and that gives you 5 more seconds that you can use to develop your ideas. Believe me, that 5 seconds can become very important when you get to the end of a 45-second response. Think about that. Now I got to listen to something. I couldn't understand the beginning of it.
I would love to live in an old historical house because I have a personal attachment.
That 7 to 8 seconds. There's word stress issues there. You got to pronounce things clearly. Now remember that I talk to native speakers on a regular basis. I have done this for 20 years. If I cannot understand you, that's not a good sign. That you have to work on being very, very intelligible.
And also this way I would be able to feel more cultured. When I was growing up, I was used to live with my grandparents and
No. Now what you're doing, you're just getting into an example, but how is what you're saying, how does it relate to the argument you're trying to make? So what you want to do is have to a little bit clearer organization. So you can say, well, first of all, I prefer to live in an old historical house because, state your first support point. Now, at some point, as you explain that, that's when you move to the example of your grandma and all those kinds of things.
the house was about 150 years old. So if I ever get the chance now to live in a historical house, it would be like a reliving old days. The other reason why I like living in a historical house,
That's a pretty good transition there, the second idea.
because the architecture and the way it builds all reminds of the history of our human culture, and that's why I would prefer to live in an old house.
You see that? So you ran out of time at the end there. And why is that? Because you took too much time in the introduction. So had you taken only 8 or 10 seconds, it would have given you 5 or 6 more seconds at the end of your response to more fully explain your second idea. All right, so now let's take a look at the rubrics. See what we have. Okay, I'm going to click on them right now. So, independent speaking. See, in order to get that 26, you have to be a little bit better with your pronunciation. That means you need to work on your intonation, and you can learn more about that in pronunciation lessons 36 through 40. You need a lot more exposure, listening to the language, watching TV, talking with native speakers. That's going to be very, very important. So you had some intelligibility issues. Language use, as far as I can tell, I think you had pretty good language use. Your organization on your second support point was better than your first, so you can work on organizing your ideas. You can go to speaking lesson 7 to get some tips on how to present a more coherently organized essay. Normally, how do you know that you're ready? A lot of my students who get 26, they usually post speaking practice tests for a period of about 2 to 3 months before they get to where they need to be. So how do you know if you're ready? Well, when your score is around 26 or higher, then you're ready. And right now, I can't do that. So I'm going to put you right now, on this response, I'm going to put you at about 2.83 out of 4, 22 points out of 30 on this practice test.